The story is about a young recruit joining a secret spy agency to take down a tech mogul threatening the world.
Welcome to the most dangerous job interview in the world.
Kingsman is an international intelligence agency, like a spy.
We're here to train you for the evil out there.
Sounds like a lot of people are going to die.
I guarantee it.
What do these do? It's a hand grenade. That is sick.
In 1997, a helicopter lands at a Middle Eastern compound. Men, including Harry Hart/Galahad, capture a leader thought to be a terrorist. Harry interrogates him, but the terrorist reveals a grenade pin in his mouth. In an act of bravery, Lee, one of the other men, gives his life by bravely jumping upon the terrorist to protect the others from the approaching bomb. After this terrible event, Merlin and Lancelot, the group's surviving members, take off their disguises. Lancelot is cordially welcomed to the Kingsman group by Harry. Following this, Harry goes to see Michelle, Lee's wife, to let her know that her husband has passed away. He also gives her an honor medal with a phone number on the reverse in case she needs help in the future. He tells her to identify herself in the event that she needs assistance by saying, "Oxford's not brogues," among other particular phrases. Michelle declines the medal, prompting Harry to approach Lee's son, Gary Eggsy, and pass the medal on to him. In Argentina, after 17 years, Professor James Arnold finds himself held captive by a gang of criminals. A knock on the door alerts the thugs, who are met by Lancelot. Following the altercation, Lancelot vanquishes the goons and even has a drink afterwards. But just as Lancelot is about to answer the door due to a second knock, he is assaulted by Gazelle, a lady who works for millionaire Richmond Valentine and has razor-sharp prosthetic legs. Gazelle and Valentine work together to free Arnold and take him with them. Harry meets Merlin and Arthur, the commander of the Kingsmen, at a tailor shop in London that doubles as a cover for their headquarters. They offer their condolences for Lancelot's loss and reveal links between his passing and earlier events in Uganda and Chechnya. Meanwhile, we find Eggsy, now in his early 20s, residing with his mother, her new husband Dean, and Eggsy's infant sister in a rundown apartment, struggling with financial instability. Eggsy goes to a pub with friends, only to encounter Dean's group of henchmen. Before Eggsy admits to his companions that he took the henchmen's vehicle keys, the henchmen scare them. They had a joyride in the automobile before they run into the cops. Eggsy makes the audacious decision to reverse the automobile through the streets until it runs into another car. Eggsy accepts the guilt and doesn't betray his pals in spite of the consequences, which might result in his arrest and an 18-month prison term. Eggsy turns to face the medal slung around his neck, remembering the code phrase "Oxford's not brogues" and calling out the number etched on the reverse. Harry saves his bacon a few moments later. Harry and Eggsy go to the pub, where Eggsy is once more confronted by Dean's goons. Despite Harry's calm request for them to depart, the leader of the henchmen shows disrespect and orders Harry to leave instead. Unfazed, Harry takes action by locking the front door, emphasizing the importance of manners with the phrase, "Manners mocketh man." He quickly uses his umbrella to knock out the main thug with a glass, then uses it to dispatch the other thugs, even turning some of them against one another. Harry surprises Eggsy by giving him a quick slap on the shoulder before leaving, asking Eggsy to keep their meeting and Harry's powers a secret. Dean confronts Eggsy violently when he gets home on what transpired with his friend's automobile. Michelle tries to intervene, but she is brushed aside. Through a microphone he put on Eggsy's shoulder, Harry hears the altercation. Speaking into the device, Harry threatens to disclose Dean's misdeeds to the police unless he releases Eggsy. Eggsy escapes the flat and eludes Dean's henchmen once more. Following Harry's suggestion, Eggsy heads to the tailor shop where he finds Harry. Harry proposes that Eggsy consider joining the Kingsman organization. Eggsy, feeling like he has nothing to lose, agrees and accompanies Harry underground to a shuttle that takes them to meet other recruits. Eggsy is teased by a kid named Charlie and his buddies, but he soon makes friends with a girl named Roxy. Harry, meantime, queries Professor Arnold about his kidnappers when he runs into him on his way to class. Arnold feels agony as a reaction, which causes his skull to blow out. When two thugs burst into the building, Harry sets off a hand grenade and jumps out of a window. He sustains injuries from the explosion and goes unconscious. After hearing of Arnold's passing, Valentine makes the decision to find out who is asking questions about their whereabouts. Water starts to seep into the chamber as the recruits are fast sleeping. Except for Eggsy, every recruit swims to the restrooms to gather pipes and install them to create air pockets. Despite his efforts to open the door, Eggsy is unable to do so. He decides to break the mirror, allowing the water to flow into the adjacent room where Merlin was supervising. Although Merlin praises Roxy, Charlie, and Eggsy for their ingenuity with the pipes and mirror, he points out that the group as a whole failed due to lack of teamwork, leading to the tragic drowning of one recruit, Amelia. Valentine and Gazelle meet over dinner with the Scandinavian Prime Minister and Princess Tilda. Valentine presents his plan for mitigating climate change, and while the PM agrees, Tilda thinks Valentine is crazy. Tilda warns the guards as she leaves the scene. Gazelle moves quickly, taking down the guards with her prosthetic legs and imprisoning Tilda. Meanwhile, the recruits work on their individual training of a batch of pups as additional training. When it comes to obeying directions, Eggsy's diminutive pug partner turns out to be a little recalcitrant. In spite of the difficulties, Eggsy grows fond of the pug and chooses to call it JB in Jack Bauer's honor. When Harry regains his strength, he, Merlin, and Eggsy uncover the shocking truth about Arnold's demise. He had a chip implanted in his neck that caused his head to explode. A similar discovery is made when they find the Scandinavian Prime Minister with a matching scar under his ear, indicating the presence of the same implant. Merlin discovers that Valentine, the mastermind behind these nefarious deeds, is the source. As he shows a video of Valentine's scheme to give out free SIM cards all across the world, Eggsy is amazed by Valentine's guile. There are also questions raised about Valentine's potential connection to the strange disappearances of a number of famous people and international leaders, including Iggy Azalea. In an attempt to learn more about Valentine's evil plans, Harry takes on a false identity and breaks into Valentine's mansion. Harry and Eggsy become friends during a casual McDonald's lunch because they both enjoy James Bond films. Despite their efforts, Harry gains limited insights during his investigation, only noticing one of Valentine's associates carrying literature from a controversial church group based in Kentucky. The group consists of Eggsy, Roxy, Charlie, and 3 of Charlie's pals for their next task, which involves parachuting from a plane onto a target. If any of them does not have a parachute, Merlin tells them to devise a strategy. One recruit, in the midst of the turmoil, opens their chute too soon. Before anyone's parachutes open, Eggsy calls everyone to join hands. With the exception of Charlie, Merlin releases everyone else, leaving just Roxy and him as Roxy opens her chute at 300 feet. Eggsy meets up with Harry again in the tailor's shop, and Harry leads him into a room full of weapons, including a pen that holds poison, a hand grenade that looks like a lighter, and shoes that have a poison blade attached to them. When they get back to the main room, Valentine and Gazelle are there, and Valentine is trying on a suit from the store. On their next task, Eggsy, Roxy, and Charlie are assigned to meet a young woman at a club. They are unknowingly drugged by an interrogator. When Eggsy awakens, he finds himself bound to the railway tracks. The interrogator pressures Eggsy to divulge information about the Kingsman organization and Harry, but Eggsy remains silent. Even as the locomotive passes over him, Eggsy falls into a little pit. After getting through this ordeal, Harry says he and Roxy are done. They see Charlie take on his own challenge, but he is sent home after deciding not to give his life in defense of the Kingsman. In the last exercise, Arthur and Merlin give Eggsy and Roxy the order to shoot their dogs. A gunshot can be heard coming from Roxy's direction, but Eggsy just cannot bring himself to do it. Arthur sends Eggsy back home since he is not happy with his choice. Disappointed, Eggsy takes Arthur's vehicle home, where his mother greets him. His happiness is short-lived, though, for he sees her black eye. Enraged, he heads to the pub to confront Dean. Just as a confrontation is about to erupt, the car mysteriously steers itself to Harry's location. Disappointed by Eggsy's test failure, Arthur discloses that the gun was loaded with a blank round. In addition, he discloses that Amelia is still alive and is employed by the Kingsmen in Berlin. Roxy is named the new Lancelot in the meantime. Harry makes his way to Kentucky, where he attends a hostile church service and hears the pastor give a biased sermon. Valentine and Gazelle set off a signal from a distance as Harry is ready to depart, sending the individuals in the church who have Valentine's SIM cards into a furious rage. Harry is forced to defend himself against individuals who attempt to harm him by shooting, stabbing, bludgeoning, impaling, and using explosives until he is the only one remaining in the chaotic scene. Merlin and Arthur observe from their respective locations outside. Harry encounters Valentine and Gazelle waiting for him. Valentine explains that the signal emitted by the SIM cards triggers aggression and suppresses inhibitions. He then retrieves a gun and fatally shoots Harry in the head, causing Eggsy to scream in horror while Valentine himself is shocked by having taken a life. To see Arthur, Eggsy goes back to the tailor shop. He plays Harry's taped version of Valentine's confession and offers a drink to Harry. In the process, Eggsy discovers an implant scar under Arthur's ear. Valentine's suggestion of a mass extermination convinced Arthur that eliminating humans would be advantageous because they were a threat to the environment. Arthur has thus been making an effort to get international leaders to support Valentine's scheme. Arthur and Eggsy grab a drink and raise a toast to Harry's memory. Using his pen, Arthur tries to poison Eggsy's drink, but he accidentally swallows the poison and perishes. Eggsy switches the drinks earlier by distracting Arthur with a question about the paintings, leading to Arthur's demise. Eggsy informs Merlin and Roxy about Arthur's plan, and they set out to thwart Valentine's scheme. During a celebration for Valentine's accomplices, Merlin and Eggsy get inside Valentine's headquarters while Roxy soars through the skies with 2 massive balloons to launch a missile against one of Valentine's satellites. Eggsy uses Arthur's invitation to enter while posing as him. Before one of the balloons bursts, Roxy successfully fires the rocket, allowing her to safely drop using a parachute. Finding the Scandinavian Princess Tilda, Eggsy offers her a kiss in return for rescuing the planet. Eggsy takes control of Valentine and gains access to his computer after successfully averting the catastrophe. When Charlie shows there, he threatens Eggsy with a knife. In response, Eggsy uses the electric ring on his finger to shock Charlie. Eggsy then rushes back to the plane, dodging and shooting through Valentine's henchmen. Meanwhile, the missile hits Valentine's satellite, delaying the signal from activating. But Valentine uses a biometric scanner that Merlin is unable to evade to take control of another satellite closer. When the signal goes out globally, individuals start acting violently in Rio de Janeiro, New York, and London. After Roxy gave Michelle the order to lock herself inside at Eggsy's request, Michelle is seen trying to break into the bathroom and hurt her kid. After trying to go back and foil Valentine's intentions, Eggsy finds himself trapped by one of Valentine's shooters. When Merlin triggers the implants, the gunmen's and global leaders' skulls burst like fireworks. Eggsy confronts Valentine and Gazelle, briefly diverting Valentine's attention by shooting at them and removing Valentine's hand from the scanner, stopping the signal. Gazelle then bursts through the glass and attempts to attack Eggsy. The two engage in a fight, culminating in a dramatic clash. When Gazelle tries to hit Eggsy with her bladed legs, Eggsy thwarts her attack by poisoning her with the blade in his shoe. Subsequently, he takes off one of her legs and hurls it towards Valentine, impaling him and permanently turning off all signals. Eggsy is praised by Merlin and Roxy for rescuing the planet. After grabbing 2 glasses and a bottle of champagne, Eggsy leaves for Tilda's house. He switches off his surveillance monitor, saying he's going to get a drink with her. After the credits roll, the action moves to Michelle and Dean in the bar. When Eggsy shows up in a fancy outfit, he tells Michelle about his new job and its perks, like moving them away from Dean. Dean and his gang try to intimidate Eggsy again. Eggsy locks the door, quotes Harry's "Manners mocketh man," throws a glass at Dean with the umbrella hook, and challenges them to fight, echoing Harry's words. Thanks for watching the recap. If you enjoyed it, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Your support means a lot. Hope to see you next time.